Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sanctuary. Saul here. I wanted to make a video about an interesting conversation I had the other day with one of our neighbors. But before I get into that, I wanted to put out a reminder that we have a Patreon. If you just Google Skookum Scarp Sanctuary, you should find it. I kind of talk a little bit more about conservation policy, forest management, all and try to tie it all into the world of Sasquatch and what we do out here. The other day, for instance, I made a whole post about does Sasquatch care about flavor, because I had run across an interesting article about the role of the hunt for flavor in human evolution. And so I kind of relate that to what I think is going on with Sasquatch and its ecology. But yeah, so just Google that and check it out, and we really appreciate all the support. But so this conversation I had the other day with the neighbor, I did get permission from him to discuss this. We had a windstorm here right around the middle of February. If you're from the Northwest, you experienced it. If not, maybe you heard about it on the news. But we definitely had a significant destruction out here as far as our trees and all of that. But one of the neighbors was kind enough to come by. I was not able to get in here. And so he stopped by and was going to check and make sure our buildings were okay. There was just so many trees down everywhere. And from what he told me, he walked down here. He got on the lots and he made his way down to kind of the lowest lot. And from what he says, he heard something that sounded, it was low, almost like a growl, but it reminded him of a giant swarm of bees. Now, we don't have giant swarms of bees here in the middle of February. So, what that was, I don't really know. I'm definitely not convinced it was Sasquatch, but it certainly seems like there was some large or yeah, I don't know. Some kind of predator was hanging out in the lot when myself and the dog weren't here. So that was kind of interesting. Now he did report that there was a deer carcass down the road, kind of in the kill zone that I referred to. He said that it was there for a little while, but he did see a maybe like a year old deer kind of hanging around it, like maybe it was its mother. So, and it didn't appear to be, obvious what exactly killed it. And, eventually the scavengers came in and took it out. But, so that's kind of interesting. I mean, especially since that's all the way down there, and that's where I think they do a lot of the killing, and yet a lot of the bones seem to wind up here. Is just kind of a head scratcher. But I think the most important thing that he told me, and really why I wanted to make this video, because again, yeah, something growling, hiding in the shrubbery around here. I mean, that could be several different things, I'm sure. The deer, well, deer do die of natural causes. Sometimes they don't always get taken out by predators. There's different diseases that deer can get that could have caused that. So, who knows what that's from. But he told me the thing about this particular neighbor is that he also likes to go walking. He's not like a lot of people up here who spend most of their time in their vehicles. He definitely likes to get out and walk and go to different places. And part of why I think that these creatures have chosen to communicate with myself is because I work in the woods. And so I think that this one, I think we're starting to see that there may be a personality to this particular Sasquatch or a group of them and what they like to leave for gifts, because I think I'm noticing a pattern here. First off, that they may communicate with people who venture into the woods, who leave their yards. But the other thing that seems to kind of be connected to what's happened to us here is he says he came home one day and something had left a skull of some kind of mammal on his steps. It wasn't like fresh or anything like that. All the flesh had been, eaten off, consumed, whatever. But here was this weird skull just sitting there for no apparent reason on his doorstep. And so now it's kind of like, well, I've made all these videos about this. I've been telling people about it for years that something leaves these bones like right where I get out of my vehicle or walk up, to my, to the cabin or whatever. And so if that's happening to another neighbor who also happens to be the sort of individual who ventures out of his yard, I don't know. It just, it's definitely not a definitive sort of thing, but it is strange, and it's strange enough that I wanted to make a video about it because, just I did get permission for him to talk about it, and because of that, I wanted to kind of add it to the collection of stories that have happened. So I think it's important that when I can get other individuals to be able to relate this information to me, it's really important when I'm able to actually come forward with it. So, but yeah, that's it for now. I'll be making some more videos. I got one that I'm working on that's going to be a Patreon only over on the Patreon. So if you want to venture over there, we really appreciate the support. But thanks for tuning in.